This is Wendy Halley, and you're listening to Lucid Cafe. Welcome back to the Lucid Cafe, and if you're a new listener, thanks so much for tuning in. Well, folks, this season is winding down. We have one more episode before my annual podcast summer break. But if you're hungry for a different kind of thought-provoking conversation, you can check out the new podcast I've started with my friend Sarah Finley called Realms of Curiosity with Sarah and Wendy. Each episode is a candid, unscripted conversation exploring shamanism, consciousness, intuition, dreams, otherworldly experiences, and the mysteries of being human in a rapidly changing world. We don't claim to have answers because we don't. Instead, we follow our curiosity into the unknown, questioning, exploring, and inviting you to do the same. Because in times like these, curiosity might be one of the most powerful tools we have. You can find Realms of Curiosity on YouTube and all major podcast platforms. A link is in the show notes. In today's episode, I speak with world-renowned consciousness teacher Peter Russell about his new book, How to Meditate Without Even Trying. Our conversation gets right to the heart of why meditation is so challenging and ways to address these challenges. So it turns out it's not just me. Peter is on the faculty of the Institute of Noetic Sciences. He's a fellow of the World Business Academy and the Findhorn Foundation, and an honorary member of the Club of Budapest. He's also the author of 11 other books, including Letting Go of Nothing and From Science to God. At Cambridge University in the UK, Peter studied mathematics and theoretical physics. Then, as he became increasingly fascinated by the mysteries of the human mind, he changed to experimental psychology. Pursuing this interest, he traveled to India to study meditation and Eastern philosophy, and on his return, took up the first research post ever offered in Britain on the psychology of meditation. So please enjoy my conversation with Peter Russell. Peter, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to this.
Well, me too, because the title of your latest book is kind of a tall order. How to Meditate Without Even Trying. So I was intrigued by this title because I am a shitty meditator. I'm going to put it out there, folks.
That's probably because you're trying.
Exactly. And that's partially also the way my brain is wired, I think makes it a little challenging. But that's what I wanted to really get into, which is the theme of your book, the trying piece.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we just jump off right there? Tell me about how we got to this place where we end up trying to meditate. What's your thought on that through all of your experience and teaching? And
I think there's several factors. One is just we are conditioned into this idea, if at first you don't succeed, try again. It's like, is there an echo? And that's true in many, many areas of life. That's really true. If you're training for something, learning a new skill, yeah. The thing is with meditation, the meditations I'm interested in, first of all, let me just make that clear. I'm interested in meditations that allow the mind to settle down, to become quiet and become more peaceful, be in the present moment. There are many meditations where, they involve concentration and other things, and they may involve trying. So there's when we're concerned with just letting the mind relax and settle down, trying gets in the way because it actually makes the mind more tense. Just as soon as you're trying, you're focusing the attention. And I see the essence of meditation is letting the attention relax. And so the trying, in a way, is going the opposite direction from relaxing the mind and coming back to a peaceful state. It just gets totally in the way. But I think what happens very often is people, they start meditating and they're not doing very well, and so they try a little bit harder, and they go to their teacher. If and maybe their teacher says, "Well, I told you it was difficult. You got to try harder."
So reinforcing that idea, yeah.
That idea, yeah, I'm being, maybe that's unfair to meditation teachers, but I think that's very much in our culture. If you're not very good at meditation, you're not trying hard enough.
I
You're
think
putting,
that's fair, yeah.
yeah, yeah, or you're putting effort into it, and
And
so yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, and the idea of like, well, now I have to try to relax into it.
Yeah,
I mean, even that is is it could be a setup if you have that mindset of trying.
right. Yeah, I think, well, I mean, just taking an example that we all know, if you've got, you know, a muscle cramp or something, or some other tension, if you try to relax it, it often just, gets worse. If you just sort of let go, breathe, and just allow your whole self to relax, it goes away. And this is really allowing the mind to relax.
Right. And you just gave a great example of your body trying to give you a big clue, forcing you to relax so that you can get out of pain.
Yes,
Because you can't try to get out of pain. You just have to, like in a cramp situation, you have to allow it to relax.
right,
The more tense you become, the more the cramp increases its pain.
right.
That's a good analogy. So I guess if you could apply that to your mental state somehow.
Exactly. Yes, yes. Yeah. And often I mean, coming back to that thing with the body, if you just, I mean, what I found personally, I mean, this may not be universally true, but if I get a cramp in my leg, the way to let it relax is to feel it, not to try and get rid of it or push it away, but to actually get into, okay, what's it like? What's this cramp like? Because as you say, it's a message. It's a message to us. It's a pain. It's a message. And so I sort of get in tune with it and just like, okay, what do you like? What do you feel like? Ah, okay, that's who you are. And usually it just begins to soften and go.
Yeah, so it's there for a reason. It's
Yeah,
trying to communicate something to you. So yeah, the idea of making friends with it rather than trying to get rid of it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I guess break up with it.
yeah.
To use a bad analogy. Huh. So, did it take you, because I know in your book you talk about your journey to discovering a lot of this and getting to a place of really wanting to simplify the process for us Westerners who make things much more complicated than we need it to be.
Yes.
Yeah. So, can you talk a little bit about that journey for yourself? Like the arc of that experience of starting to meditate and then bumping up against some of these challenges and the insights you came to through the process that helped you get to where you're at right now.
Right. Yes. Initially, I had no interest in meditation or anything, quote, spiritual. I
Okay.
was a mathematician, then doing theoretical physics at Cambridge in England, and doing fine. But there's this niggling thing in my mind the whole time. It's like, why are we conscious? What is consciousness? And I
It's a
realized,
great question.
and no amount of theoretical physics was ever going to answer that. In fact, physicists would be much happier if there's no such thing as consciousness,
I
because
bet.
it's inexplicable, but it's undeniable. And so I started moving in that direction, studied psychology a bit, but they weren't interested in consciousness. I learned a lot about the brain. And then I realized the way to study consciousness is the way that spiritual people have done it, the yogis, people, recluses, which is actually you go inside and observe your own consciousness. And oh, that's meditation. That's meditation. And so I started getting interested in meditation, tried a few things, and then came across transcendental meditation. And this was back in the late 60s, which was getting a lot of attention then. And that worked for me. And one of the core principles in transcendental meditation, often called TM, is effortlessness, is being completely effort. And so allowing the mind to gently unwind of its own accord. As soon as you put any effort, to say, it tightens up again.
Mm.
And so I I was teaching TM for a number of years, And then just began just continuing on my own and did some mindfulness work. But all along, that attitude of complete effortless stayed with me. And being a scientist, I'm not one to take anything on faith. It's like, does it make sense? Is it true for me? And so I started experimenting with my own meditation and looking at ways to really help it be completely effortless and allow me to go deeper. And so that's what I've been doing maybe in the last 20 years, is just really exploring that personally. And then in this book, I just wanted to bring together everything I've learned.
The process of effortlessness, was it this sort of jerky experience where you had to recognize what effort felt like in order to back out of it?
No, that is one thing that I touch upon in the book you can do. And that's when you notice you're putting effort, when you do notice that, and you usually notice it because there's some tension somewhere, or sort of tension in the mind or something, when you notice that, then usually just by noticing it, bring it into awareness, it'll relax. Like the muscle will relax, the effort will relax. But the main thing isn't about trying to spot effort. It's about a process which is in itself doesn't involve any effort, learning a process which doesn't involve concentrating the mind. I mean, even in mindfulness, when you start mindfulness, there's that um, intention to be with a certain experience. You often begin as be with the breath, be with the breath. And that easily becomes, translated in the practitioner's mind as, focus on the breath, concentrate on the breath. Oh, I've got to keep
Right.
my attention there. And so the effort creeps in. The effort creeps in almost invisibly.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah, it is. And that's one of the things, it is tricky. And so part of what the practice is noticing when that happens to yourself. But more, it's just starting off in a completely effortless way. I mean, and noticing what's happening. I mean, usually I just suggest to people the first thing to do is just take a few deep breaths. Because as soon as we sit down to meditate, we're busy and things. You take a few deep breaths. I mean, I just notice my body just going, ah,
It's very true. Yeah. It's like your nervous system gets the message, everything's okay. Call off the troops.
yeah,
Start
yeah,
from square one.
yes. And so that's the beginning, and that doesn't take any effort. It just takes the intention, the remembering. Just take a few deep breaths.
Yes, because you're doing it all the time. It's just
Yeah,
now do it deeper.
yeah, yeah. Now, consciously breathing like a sigh. It's almost like taking a sigh as a sort of sign to the body or the mind, everything's okay.
Mm,
Right now, everything's okay. I don't have to worry about anything. And then just being aware of what's happening in the moment. Again, not trying to concentrate on anything, but not like being aware, concentrating on some aspect of the present moment, but just opening, like, oh, here I am. Here's my
mm.
body. Here's sensations in the body. Oh, there's a bird singing, but not trying to focus it or label it, just being sort of just innocently, gently aware of
Yeah.
it. And what usually happens to people then is that's fine, but after a short while, the mind comes in, what people call the monkey mind. You're off thinking some thought or other, or a series of thoughts. And either because they seem important or interesting, and then you come to this period this point where you wake up. In a sense, you just realize, oh, people say, oh dear God, I've been thinking. I shouldn't have been doing that.
Meaning that you
Basically,
slipped into it and you weren't aware that you slipped into it, but
yeah,
until you became aware that you slipped into it.
yeah, because when you're slipped into it, you're engrossed in it
Mm,
because it seems important in some way. And then when you realize you've slipped into thinking, in a way, you've already become present again. You become present to the fact you were thinking.
right. And you bring up a really great point in your book, which I want to highlight, and that is the idea of thinking as a habit.
Yeah,
And when you think of thinking as a habit, then it takes on a whole different, it has a whole different flavor to it,
yeah,
meaning that the lack of awareness, I think a lot of us like to fancy ourselves as being very involved with our thinking, like we're really engaged with our thinking process, and we don't realize that we're probably not that involved with it, that it's happening just in the
Yes,
background, in the foreground, in the middle ground,
yeah.
right? Does that make
It's
any
just going
sense?
on. Yeah. Yes, yes. Just, it's going on, but we don't pay. We're sort of engrossed in it, but don't notice it too much. And by the way, this is not to say that thinking is not good. I mean, thinking is a great human act. It makes us what we are,
It
part of
has
it.
its place. Yeah.
It has its place, but not in meditation. And yet it will keep coming up because it's a habit. It will keep coming up. And so when you realize you've been thinking what people call the monkey mind, they think I've gone wrong, I'm no good at meditation, blah, blah, blah.
Said it already. Yep.
Yeah. And try to, stop it. They try to conquer it or stop it or say, oh, I must do better next time. I must keep my mind on the present moment and stop the thoughts coming in, whatever. It's completely natural. And it's brain studies have shown it's a completely natural thing to happen. And what you do then in my practice is very simple. You just make the choice not to follow that thought any further, which is basically withdrawing your attention from the thought. So there I was engrossed in some thought about what I'm going to say to somebody in a meeting, and I noticed that and just like, okay, instead of trying to stop it, just pulling back, no longer interested in that thought for now. It may come back again, but right now I'm not interested in it. Just withdraw the attention, just choosing not to follow it. And the present reemerges because your attention had been caught up in the thought. And so you're off on that. Now, when you take your attention away from the thought was blocking your experience of the moment. Taking your attention away from the thought, and here I am. Here's my body, or there's that bird again, whatever it is.
So all those sensory experiences come to the foreground then, if you're in
Uh,
the moment, right?
Yes,
Your physicality, the sounds, sights, smells.
whatever's happening in the present moment, yes, you're aware of again because it was being pushed out. You weren't really aware of it when you were thinking, because the attention can really only be on one thing at a time. If the attention was on a thought, you weren't paying attention to your body or what was going on. So when you take the attention away from the thought, then the attention, because the thought is taking us away from the present moment, it's nearly always about the past or the future in some way.
Mm-hmm.
We take our attention away from it, it's like the present reemerges. You just notice it.
It's such
It's
a simple point, but it's a really deep, great point that you're
right.
making, right? And how often do we think about it like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have control of much, I don't think. That's at least the conclusion I've come to over the years. But one thing we do have control of is where we point our focus
Exactly.
and how often are we exercising that
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's the one. I mean, I don't get into the whole philosophy of this, but I think that's the one point where we do have a sort of free choice is what we attend to, where we place the attention.
Right, exactly. No, yeah, the whole free will thing is tricky
Yeah.
territory as well,
Yeah.
depending on where you come
Right.
from.
So basically, we don't have any choice about what thoughts arise.
Yeah, where do they even come from? That's
Yeah.
another interesting
Yeah.
topic. Yeah.
Yeah. But we do have a choice to retire our attention from that particular thought. I think that's the choice we have.
I
And then
like
we
that
also have a choice.
language too, retire our
Yeah.
attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And give it a gold watch and some golf
Yeah.
clubs.
Yeah. And so the point about this, it doesn't take any effort. It just takes a decision, a choice. That's all. And so you haven't done anything to become present. It's just the present has re-emerged in your awareness because there's no longer a distraction taking you away.
All right. So, yeah, so there's an awareness that you're not in the present and then a shifting focus back into the present. And then I imagine just the repetition of that to try to create a new habit of trying to be more present.
The word trying, you see, comes in again so easily.
Yeah.
I mean,
Guilty.
it's in their language. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say it starts becoming a more natural practice. As you do, it's just like, You don't need to try, you just learn this is what you do. You just no longer follow the thought.
Huh. Okay. So, how important do you think it is to have the desire to do this to be successful?
Um, that's an interesting question. I mean, obviously, we have the desire to meditate, actually, the desire to make us sit down on a cushion or chair and actually meditate, in that sense. The desire, I would use the word, I like the word intention better.
Okay.
Intention. So I think when I sit to meditate, having settled down, there is then the intention, but it's not even a conscious intention anymore. But earlier I said it's just an intention that when I notice I've drifted off on some thought, then the intention is just to withdraw the attention from that thought, to retire the attention. And and that's it. And then that happens. And then I'm off on another thought and do the same. And then as you repeat that process, gradually the mind settles down of its own accord because you're not feeding it with anything or
Mm.
else focus on anything. You find the mind just settles down. And so the meditation just naturally becomes deeper or quieter as you do it.
And for you achieving that present moment experience, what is the appeal of that? Why would that be more advantageous in your everyday experience or as much as possible in your meditative experience than not having that experience?
Right. Well, firstly, it's enjoyable when you're just in the present moment, just quietly there, and not even focusing on anything. It's like, I like this. It's peaceful. It's
Feels
peaceful.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels nice, and that alone is worth it. Just to, if we're stressed up, busy day, worrying about this or that, to actually sit back and just go, this is nice. This is what I need. This is the break I need. Is valuable in itself. But then also we we come back into life, everyday life, with something's coming back with us into life. That sense of ease, that sense of peace, is coming back into life, and we begin to just see things more clearly. We're not so caught up in our thoughts. I mean, as you go on through the day, it all comes back, but you're learning in a way to practice the same thing in life. And so I find because I'm seeing things more clearly, I'm making better decisions about things.
Makes
And so
perfect sense. Yeah.
my life is, and there's also lots of evidence, scientific evidence now on the effects on health and various other things and relationships and stuff. So there's lots of areas where it's beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah. As I was reading your book and the conclusions I've been coming to in my own work about especially the state of the world now and how I'm describing it as noisy, a lot of mental and emotional noise that people are having internally. And of course, it can be palpable if you're a sensitive person. You can just feel it. It's like in
Yeah.
the out there
Yeah.
in the world. And when you have a lot of that internal noise, it can be extremely difficult to get that clarity that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
meditation is a pathway to get that clarity because if you want, you also have a really lovely chapter on intuition that to me, if you can quiet the noise, that will allow you to hear and access your intuition,
Yes.
but it's always there. But if the noise is getting in the way, you can't quite grasp it or pick up on it or get those messages, that clarity.
Yeah.
So another reason to to not try, but
The practice, to have it as
now I'm going to be the word police for myself.
good. It's important. I think it's important.
It is, you're right, because language matters. Yeah, words
And,
matter.
and we fall into, when we say it, there's an implication of what it means. It's a
Hmm.
habit that we use the word.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
your unconscious will take
Yeah.
that very seriously. Oh, we
But
have to
let,
try now. Yes, okay, let's try.
but
Yeah.
let's come back to what you were saying before I interrupted.
Oh, no, no, just the idea that we have access to great wisdom
Yes.
if we can get out of our own way.
Yes.
And quieting that internal noise
Yes.
is the only way, I think, that you can access it. But you
Yes.
have to realize that you have all of this internal noise to begin with. But most of us, it becomes a baseline. We don't even realize how
Yeah.
loud it is. It's just, and it comes across in symptoms of high stress and
Yes.
bad communication or
Yeah.
conflict or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yes. And most of that noise, I mean, some of it is when it's extreme, it's actually physical noise. It's a background tension in the body. And so that's part of it. When you're relaxing the mind like this, you'll notice in meditation, the body begins to relax as well. But a lot of that noise is mental noise, is thought noise, is worrying about this, worrying about that, getting upset about this, or angry about that, or whatever it is, or wishing the leader of our country would do something different.
Oh, I hadn't noticed. Oh, God.
Sorry. um,
No, man, it's got to say
yeah.
it.
And so in meditation, we're just not getting caught up in those thoughts anymore, or getting caught up in them less and less as the meditation progresses. So you may
Mm.
start with what I call a fizzy mind, just very busy, and just gradually it settles down, and that's when you touch into the quietness, the peace, when you're no longer disturbing the peace by all the thoughts, because I would say, I don't know, but I would guess 99% of our thoughts are not ones that actually encourage peace of mind. We may have a few, but most of them are actually disturbing our peace of mind.
Absolutely. And if you took an inventory of your thoughts, the content of your thoughts, it would probably be a lot of repetition of not very pleasant things.
Yeah, or worrying things. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
coming back to the intuition, yes, I agree. I think we have an incredible sense of intuition. I see it, more in animals. I think we don't access it so much because we're so busy in the thinking mind. And when the mind becomes quiet, that intuition it's there, as you say, it's there the whole time, but it's a quiet voice. And so the mind needs to be quiet in order to hear that quiet voice of the intuition. And that's, usually like, and it isn't even words, it comes through as impulses more often. It's just like an impulse to whatever it is, go somewhere or something sometimes, even that. And it's like, wow, that was really important. I did that. It can be on that level. But I
But
also,
yeah,
in
random too. Yeah.
Yeah. In meditation, what I talk about in meditation is that our inner knowing can actually spot when we're trying a little. It's like the inner knowing in the background. Oh, Peter's just getting into trying again. And so what I found a really useful way to sort of access my inner knowing is to ask it a question.
Ooh,
And so, but a very open-ended, but I'm not asking me, I'm not asking me, my conscious ego mind. So the question typically might be something, well, a very simple one is, could I be even more relaxed? And
all
then
right.
just not trying to answer it with my mind, because just laying it as a seed with the attitude, could I just possibly maybe be more relaxed? And then
It almost sounds like a dare. Hmm.
yeah, and then just wait. And then often what happens is the answer comes through as my body beginning to relax more, or something in my mind relaxing. So the answer doesn't come through in words, it comes through as a shift in my being in some way.
I love that. Yeah. Huh. Do you think that the reason why meditation is so challenging could be kind of a byproduct of our culture, like the Western way of being and how we're so externally focused as opposed to internally focused from an early age?
I don't know. I mean, my own experience of real experience of other cultures is India. And from what I know, they have the same problems.
Okay.
And the same challenges. And a lot of the teachings, I mean, the few I come across, do involve concentration and effort and things. So I think a lot of it is in the teachings there.
Okay, so it could be just potentially a universal, for lack of a better word, discipline that we could all benefit from if we put our focus in that direction.
Yes, practice rather than discipline.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
sorry,
nobody likes that word. I know. It's
I know. I think it will benefit almost everyone. I mean, there are cases. I'm in contact with someone at the moment. These people who do not have thoughts. That they don't have any internal verbal representation of anything. It's weird. There's just a few cases, and I'm actually communicating actually with the wife of someone who's has this,
so
and
this
it's
is an individual that
yeah,
like
this
these are
is
people who just the way their brains work, they
the
do
way
not
their
have
brain.
thoughts.
They do not have thoughts the way their brains work, and so meditation doesn't, in a sense, have anything to work on in that way.
Hmm.
Um, he seems generally much more at peace. She says, but he still gets upset at things, which to me is completely natural. I mean, getting upset, getting angry at something is, at its root, it's a biological reaction. It's
It's a
like,
reaction, yeah.
this is not good for me. So he still gets upset, but doesn't then hold on to the upset because his
Hmm.
mind isn't going 3 days later, that's silly, whatever he shouldn't have
Or
done.
in imagining a scenario that could be upsetting, just
Right,
conjuring it,
right.
which is
Yeah,
not a reaction. It would be a conjuring, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
which is what most of us do.
So leaving aside these unusual cases, yes, I think it is something that we can all value from. To one degree, I mean, some people are just naturally more relaxed in their attitude to the world. Other people, the A types, are just on it, on it, on it.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I wondered, yeah, how much mindset has to do with it too. Like, just beliefs. I think beliefs color so much. I don't know if you see it that way, but
Oh yes, yes.
like
So
a
Heidegger was,
pessimistic versus an optimistic mindset,
yeah,
for example, is a
yeah,
really lame kind of black and white example, but
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
Well, I think
colors things.
mindset is behind almost everything. I mean,
Okay.
mindset, they affect the way we, not the way we perceive the world so much, the way we evaluate the world, the way we judge what's happening. And they can have quite deep influences, mindsets, in terms of how you frame what you see.
Mm. I would love to take a little deep dive, if you don't mind, into what you've discovered about at least your take, because this topic no one really knows, as you pointed out a little while ago. But what have you learned about consciousness in your studies and your practice so far?
Oh, time for another show?
Just, yeah,
Um,
just real quick, just
yes, real quick.
just teasing.
Uh, I think we talked a lot about already about meditation and the attention, and
Hmm.
that's something I'm following up a lot more. How the role of attention in consciousness, and so that's something. But also, I've been really interested in the sort of philosophical side. What is consciousness? Where does consciousness come from the brain? And that's been a question I've been fascinated by really ever since I had that sort of shift away from physics. Like,
That's what I
where
was
does it?
curious about. Yes.
Yeah,
Do you have that more mechanistic kind of
right.
perspective,
Yeah.
or has it shifted, or
It shifted. It shifted about 30 years ago. It shifted, and I realized. Well, first of all, when scientists study consciousness, they study the brain, and they find it. If you switch off this part of the brain, consciousness is affected, or whatever. Or here we can trace, when a person had this experience, they heard this noise. We can see that trace in the brain of how they heard the noise. So
right?
there's no doubt in my mind. Other people might doubt it. There's no doubt in my mind that what appears in our consciousness is determined by the brain. I mean, I'm leaving aside for a moment, extrasensory stuff, etc. That's an open question in terms of how it, whatever. But for most of us, in most of our daily life, what we are conscious of is dependent upon the brain's functioning. Now, there's actually two questions here, which they always confuse together. The first question is, does the brain affect consciousness? And my answer would be yes. Does the brain create consciousness? And this is where it gets really tricky
Mm-hmm.
because they call this the hard problem of consciousness.
That's right.
How,
David Chalmers, yeah.
yeah, how does this lump of gray matter actually lead to an experience? Why doesn't it all just go on? I mean, Dave Chalmers says in the dark, and so to speak, all that processing go on, but why does it lead to this experience I'm having right now? And there's nothing that can account in science for subjective experience in itself. Nothing. And so the view I've come to is it's pre-existing. It exists in all life, basically. All life is aware, is conscious.
Okay.
Um, very simple life, may have a very, very simple awareness of the world. And, you know, as the brains have evolved and different structures in the brain, the consciousness has become more complex. And because we've added thoughts to it, it's even more complex.
Very
So,
true.
yeah. So I take the view that consciousness is there already. In the end, it's an aspect of the cosmos. And, but but definitely of life. But I mean, to be an aspect of life, it has to actually still be there originally anyway. And I think life sort of amplifies it. So that's the view I have. And slowly, more and more of the philosophers, scientists who are now looking at consciousness are coming round to that point of view that consciousness itself is pre-existing. I think David Chalmers himself has come round to that view, and some other people. Right? Yeah,
Yeah, no, it is truly a mystery, right? And I was wondering how much the evolution of your thinking about it has been informed by your direct experience doing meditation and any other consciousness altering experiences may have had over the
yeah.
years.
Um, Not directly.
No, okay.
I think it's more been a sort of
More of an intellectual exercise.
yes. I mean, when I see it, I don't have a dog now. When I had a dog, it was impossible not to see it as a conscious being.
Very true.
And I get into empathetic relationships. But the dog clearly had better intuition than me because it wasn't clouded up with thoughts. But then, most people, where do you draw the line? I would accept that, fish are conscious, like vertebrates. Where do you draw the line? Spiders conscious. And so I'm just beginning to see consciousness in everything. It's like
Mm.
seeing, if you say, silly, spiders are conscious, but flies aren't. What happens between a
Yeah,
fly
where do
and
you
a
draw
spider?
the line,
Where
right?
do you draw the line? And you can't
Yeah.
draw the line anywhere. So it has to go all the way down.
Well,
Yeah.
there's interesting studies being done on plants as well, like
Yeah.
fungi, trees,
Yes.
all kinds of fauna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting really interesting, I think.
Yes. And just slowly, gradually, more and more people are coming around to seeing it this way. Which,
Which
of
is
course, is the way that, ancient traditions have seen it all along.
right. But they were much more in tune with the natural world. And that's
Yes.
kind of more where my Western mind question was coming from. There was a point, it seems to me, that we kind of disengaged from the natural world
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that lack of interrelationship with the natural world. I think, I mean, if you look at the ancient medicines that were
Yeah.
created, plant medicines, you would ask the shamans, they talked to the plants. The plants were the source of the recipes for how to use these medicines
Yeah.
to help
Yeah.
the humans,
Yeah. They
which
contain
is a
their own.
very interesting way of looking at. So
Yeah.
that suggests that the plants have a consciousness and that they have
Yeah.
an intelligence that can be communicated with, which suggests that earlier humans had a much different relationship with the world around them
Yeah.
than we contemporary humans do now. Which, yeah, it's kind of a lost thing, but maybe we're coming back around
Some people are.
to a degree, at least opening the door to,
Yeah.
like,
More
oh,
people
that's a
open the door.
possibility. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It does sound crazy. I mean, if you take it on its face, especially from a very scientific standpoint, it's like, that sounds batshit to be able
Yeah,
to communicate with the consciousness of a plant or an animal,
right. Yeah.
but maybe not.
And just because, in our scientific, materialistic worldview, there isn't the possibility for that. And so it's excluded.
Mm,
In fact, just last month, there was an issue of Scientific American on consciousness.
okay.
And it went through 20, I think it was 21 different theories of consciousness, all about how the brain creates consciousness.
Oh,
And
okay.
as an aside, they said some people are looking at, what we've been talking about, panpsychism,
Yes.
but that's a really, that's not a scientific approach at all.
Yeah, that was more of a footnote, I guess, right?
Yeah, it
To-
was in one paragraph somewhere,
okay.
dismissing it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too because I suspect the ways in which early humans have made these connections is through an altered state
Yeah,
of sorts,
yeah,
right? So a meditative practice using plant medicines to alter
yeah,
consciousness, like psychedelics.
yeah,
Yeah, so basically doing what you're talking about, what you're a proponent of is getting quiet inside so that you can
yeah.
perceive more
Yes, yeah,
of yourself and the
yeah,
rest of the world. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And even, when I'm doing other practices, plant medicines or something, I want to just be in a meditative state to fully explore what is happening, what's being shown.
Which makes perfect sense. And that kind of is what led me to the question about direct experience. Like if you had any direct experiences that sort of said, huh, maybe there's more to all of this than my thinking had allowed me to see before.
Oh,
And now,
yes.
and now that I've had these experiences, like, huh, it's a lot richer maybe than,
Yeah, yes, yes. I wouldn't say they converted my thinking. Like trees. I mean, I have where I used to live, this tree, and one time I was having this wonderful connection with this tree. Um, but it wasn't like, oh wow, trees are conscious. Like I'd already accepted that in my mind. It's just like, oh, this is how it can manifest. This is what it can feel like.
so it just allowed that connection to happen. Is that what you mean?
It it
Because
allowed
you're
it
in that
it
state.
brought it brought the experience of the connection
Mm,
to my consciousness. It allowed me
um,
to experience the connection.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks for indulging me in that little side trip.
No, it's a good one. I'm glad you wanted to go there.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the name of my podcast is Lucid Cafe. So I love the word lucid.
Yeah.
So how to meditate without even trying.
Yeah.
Keyword being trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Effortless
Yeah.
meditation. So are you still actively teaching people how to meditate?
A little. With the book coming out, I'm going to revitalize some online teaching I was doing. A lot of my in-person teaching, various groups and things, died with COVID.
Ah, yeah.
People didn't want to come along, and I didn't like working with these groups, particularly online. And I have a few local groups, which I'm reactivating again now. Now people have got over the idea of getting together in groups. So, but a lot of that stopped then.
Yeah, it's a sad thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it's starting back up again.
Yes, I want to get into doing more of it online,
Okay.
particularly with the book coming out now, is to help people when people read the book. It still takes, they can need a lot of advice or find advice helpful. They come across questions, what do I do if this happens? And so, yeah,
No, it's a very helpful book, really helpful book. And it's not a tome. It's a short book packed with lots of really good information. So, what's the best way for folks to learn more about you and your books?
my website,
Okay, which
straightforward,
is
peterrussell.com,
okay, that's pretty straightforward.
which is, and just make a point, the Russell has two L's, not the French way, which is one L. So
Okay.
peterrussell.com.
And I
And
will
there,
include a link in the show notes as well.
yeah, great. And then people can, there's everything. I've got about 400 pages there of things I've written, videos, courses, lots of stuff. It's all there.
Awesome. Well, Peter, thank you so much. This has been really fun. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed it.
So the whole goal is to try not to try. Got it. Oh, our brains. Actually, it's our unconscious minds that makes things so damn challenging. But as Peter eloquently pointed out, it's doable. To learn more about Peter and his work, please look for the link to his site in the show notes. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back soon with the final episode of the season, where my pal Linda River Valente will be joining me once again for an astro forecast. She'll give us a glimpse into the astrology for the second half of 2026. There's a lot going on. Shocker. All right. Until next time.